Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. We're at the Talisker Distillery. Now, Talisker is the oldest distillery on Skye, founded in 1830. Only recently, about a decade ago, there was another distillery on Skye, which we will visit later on, the Torraveg Distillery. But today we are at the Talisker Distillery. Founded in 1830, and Talisker is of course a malt that barely needs any kind of introduction, right? So what we're going to do now is visit the distillery, and afterwards we'll give one of their malts a wee try. And in front of the distillery there is Loch Harport. Beautiful, beautiful lochside, and this is where we will be trying that Talisker. And it's a Talisker Storm. This is a Talisker that's been around for quite a few years already. It's a no-age statement bottling, of which the press release informs us that Talisker wanted to focus on the distillery character and therefore decided to bottle this Talisker Storm. What they use for this is some rejuvenated casks. Let me just, oh, that's a healthy measure. Rejuvenated cask to mature their Talisker single malt in. There we go. Right. So this is a young Talisker from refill casks to create this Talisker Storm. This is bottled at the usual 45.8% ABV, a strength that we know from Talisker. And as you can see, this is a full golden, full-bodied malt, but a full golden, and that is, of course, thanks to those rejuvenated casks. This is quite nice, in fact. Right. The Talisker Storm at 45.8% ABV on the nose. Lovely, and it is in fact quite different from the classic 10 years old. This is salty and even slightly sour with some anchovies taking the lead. That is followed by some stockfish, some oysters, and then some vanilla. It does feel a bit young, but in no way offensively so. Right, on the palate. Lovely, quite soft, beautifully smoky, somewhat sweet, becoming sweeter still. There's plenty of peat and ginger in there, and then I get some walnuts, some pears, apples and mango, a hint of melon even, and then a chunk of salt. This is wonderfully balanced though. This is really the saltiness against the fruitiness, and it is perfectly balanced. On the finish. Quite long, and it becomes fruity sweet, in fact. Lasts long, and then it ends in that typical pepper and salty notes that you'd expect from the Talisker Distillery. Well, it's surprising how this malt evolved from salty to sweet and back to salty. Quite a lovely dram indeed, and also quite affordable. And again, I don't mean to put it down, but the classic Talisker 10 years old is still my go-to Talisker whiskey, but for a bit sweeter tooth, this might be just the thing for you. The Talisker Storm at 45.8%, brought to you from the Loch Harport at a proverbial stone's throw away from the Talisker Distillery. And that, my friends, is all for this Whisky Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whisky Ramblings real soon. Until then, may the malt be with you. Bye-bye.